guys, this is Brad with Despite Fitness, and I'm going to do a quick video and talk a little bit about balance, because that kind of became an issue for me over the last couple of weeks. And so talk about it real fast, have some ideas and some thoughts of mine, and maybe some recommendations for you guys as you look to get deeper into powerlifting, or get involved in powerlifting, or really any other venture for that matter. So talking about balance, it's something that over the last I don't know, probably a couple of months, maybe even since March, maybe even before that, kind of let balance get away from me, let myself get a little carried away with powerlifting, and it had a lot of ramifications for my personal life. Kind of putting family on the back burner, kind of putting just a lot of stuff on the back burner, and my sole focus essentially was powerlifting and trying to get as good as I could and all that. In terms of getting better for powerlifting, I did a good job. I'm probably as good a powerlifter now as I have ever been. I'm probably at my life's peak so far, and that's all well and good. But at the end of the day, what has it brought me? Does it put food on the table? Does it help my kids with homework? Does it satisfy the chores and responsibilities that we have here at the house? Does it make my wife feel super great? Be able to share a household with a international elite lifter and all that entails? No, it doesn't. It doesn't do any of those things. To hit an international elite total is great, kind of a life's goal of mine. But ultimately, to do it, that's it. It's just another day. You know what I mean? It's almost like this thing where you think of Christmas morning as a child, and you think, oh man, it's Christmas morning, and I'm gonna have all these presents from Santa, and the day's gonna be glorious and whatever. And then you wake up and you go down and you open up your presents and you got socks, and you realize that Christmas is just another day, right? It can be very special and very cool, but ultimately there's nothing super magical about it. I mean, the magic is the family, the sharing, the camaraderie, all that. And so I guess what it is that I'm trying to say is that by being so focused and so singularly obsessed with the powerlifting, I let pretty much everything else in my life slide, in terms of familial obligations, in terms of stuff that I should be present for, and just wasn't. So there was stuff I was physically there, but I was not present. I didn't want to be there. I didn't whatever. So the whole focusing and obsessing with the powerlifting, it kind of poisoned the well for my wife especially. And none of this really goes down without her. I mean, that's it, right? No her, no family, no nothing, no me. There's none of that. So without belaboring the point, I guess what I'm trying to say is that balance is a critical element, right? And I completely forgot that. And I was actually, by all accounts, you may consider me lucky for the position that I was in, right? I was kind of in a position where I was allowed to forego everything else. I was allowed to bypass a lot of other stuff and forget things and let things slide, and not be present or participate in certain things that I didn't want to participate in, and whatever, right? It all sounds great. I was able to singularly focus on this one thing, And you would think that maybe for the thing that you love the most, in terms of a goal or a pursuit of yours, that to be able to just singularly focus on this thing would be the greatest thing ever. But it's not. It wasn't. It wasn't all that satisfying. I personally don't think that I grew as much as I probably could have grown. And I was pretty focused on lifting. I was pretty focused on the stuff that I should have been focused on. There were a few points in times where I lost myself a bit, diet wise, with some stuff going on or whatever else. But by and large, that the training cycle that I had leading up into nationals was one of the most focused training cycles I've ever had. But it also yielded like really some of the worst results I've ever had. I had a token PR on my squat. I had a token PR on my bench. Essentially, I would have gone for a token PR on my squat, or on my deadlift rather. But I got red lighted on my kind of stepping stone lift, and so decided to scrub the last one because I already won by 200 pounds basically. And so I just decided to play safe. Now I'm glad I played safe, and that's really, really good. But I did well enough at this meet that really it's kind of time to make an announcement. Is I plan on participating in the IPL World Meet in Vegas in November. My unit was very happy with how I performed, with winning first for super heavies, and so they'd like me to pursue the World Meet. And I'd like to do that. So the plan, the expectation at this point in the game, barring any injury or anything, super significant, is to go and compete at the IPL World Championships later this year. But in order to do so, kind of circling back around to the topic at hand, is balance. The train up and everything else is going to have some balance, and I think kind of reprioritize myself a bit for how I focus on life in general and how I focus on my training, friends, family. There's a lot of stuff that comes into play, and like I kind of said, you'd think that having kind of a past to only focus on that thing that you want would be good, but in my experience just now doing that, it wasn't as fulfilling as you might think it is. I think really the balance is what makes the whole thing fulfilling. Juggling stuff with that goal and that lofty pursuit gives context to that lofty pursuit, right? Because if you only ever have one thing to focus on, the expectation would be that you could get that one thing done, right? You're only doing one thing. You only had one job, and you would think that you could do that, but it's like I said, it's not as rewarding. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about is the balance piece. Being able to juggle multiple things at once, being able to focus on multiple things at once, making family a priority, making being helpful and all that other stuff a priority. So with this training cycle, that's what I intend on doing. I intend on having a lot more balance in my life. I intend to have a lot more interaction with my family and all that entails. And I really kind of let that slide. And I got called on that one pretty quick. So hopefully I can pull it off. Hopefully I can find that symmetry, and I can find that balance, and I can continue to pursue the goals that I'd like to pursue, bring myself to new levels in terms of my strength and powerlifting, and like I said, I don't, there's really nobody beating down my door, no one paying my bills, no one doing anything too crazy. I do have some sponsors, and I'm very grateful for their help and support. I think without it, then this endeavor would be nearly impossible. So the local sponsors have really made a big difference in my life, and I really couldn't do what I do without those guys. So do want to thank Empower Performance, Progressive Chiropractic and Rehabilitation, Max Fit Nutrition, and of course the folks at Special Forces Association Chapter 7. You guys making dreams come true, so appreciate you guys, and stay tuned for more to come. That's pretty much the video, guys. Just balance. Yeah, so I appreciate you checking it out. Hopefully it means something for you. Kind of strike a chord in whatever it is that you have going on in life, whether it be powerlifting or something else. I appreciate all the likes, shares, and subscribes that we can get. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please take a second and subscribe. The channel keeps getting bigger and bigger, and I'm very grateful for all the people jumping in. That's very awesome. If you know anybody who's looking at lifting or lifts and doesn't know me, share my content with them. Maybe something that I have done or will do will mean something to them. So bring more attention and eyeballs onto the channel. Certainly appreciate that. And keep pursuing your goals, but never forget the balance. I let that one slide, and wasn't a good look. Anyway, no matter what it is you think you can't do, guys, remember, train despite. Thanks for checking out the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.